It's super
10%.
stoked to have you on here, Blake.
Awesome, bro.
Uh,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
let's jump into it. For anyone who doesn't know you yet, like who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name is Blake Baswell, and I pretty much manage like a portfolio of companies that are enabled by AI. Um, Back in like 2019, I started my first agency. It wasn't like the traditional agency where like you start an online business and you outsource like freelancers or whatever. Like it was a in-person sort of like agency where I had to manage like 14 people in-house, like physically. That was super successful. We started pretty much opening up our my niche was like tattoo artists and tattoo studios. Back in 2019, um, we were opening up tattoo studios across the U.S. And then we kind of scaled, hit a bottleneck, and um, it was just like I wanted to do something different. I was infatuated by software, and yeah, today I realized that it was a transition where I made an exit, and then now I'm just building AI, so like AI automations and like AI solutions within that same vertical, and then yeah, it's pretty much what I do now. So it's pretty much just like selling AI solutions to businesses at this point. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. So no.
That's awesome. Someone looking to get started, the brand new, what's the roadmap, they should take with someone with maybe $1,000 versus someone with sitting on $100,000.
Yeah, so I would learn the skill of understanding like how AI works, um, and like play around with it. Like I tell people all the time, like if you don't have any skills, skill up using AI, and like learning new skills with AI in and of itself is a skill in and of itself. You know what I mean? Um, and I think like the biggest opportunity right now is selling like AI solutions to businesses. Um, I think that is just like high cash flow, low barrier to entry. Uh, just kind of like agency where you can sell services to them like lead gen, sales, like bookings, etc. But like now I think that, every single local business out there wants to reduce costs, make more money, and, save more time. And this technology is perfect, but like most people just don't know how to use it. Most businesses don't even use it anyways. So um, that'd be my biggest recommendation. And I think that, if I was starting out from scratch right now, I would legitimately sell AI services to local businesses, run that up. I'd be happy making like, 10 to 15, 25K per month, living in Bali, living life, you know.
You're in you're more on the AI kind of SaaS stuff as well because you already kind of killed it with the agency. So is your agency more 2019, that would be more Facebook meta ads?
Yeah. So my previous agency, yeah, no. So pretty much like we would growth operate tattoo shops. And like it wasn't just like I really believe um I really believe that like you can't just offer one service. Like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts is a quote by Aristotle that I really resonated with. So it was pretty much just like extrapolating all of the responsibilities from our clients, which are the artists, right? And then having them just focus on what they do best. And that incorporates like bookings, doing sales, doing like their accounting, pretty much doing like everything under the sun so that they could just focus on what they do best. Yeah, we did run like some ads, but like over like over like 90% of the business came from like referrals and just organic social media anyways. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much how I got started, which is like approaching a business that was already doing a lot, but have that has a lot of growth potential, incorporated technology, and then teams, and then pretty much just taking a percentage of the success that we bring them over time.
And so are you kind of taking those same, principles with your AI like SaaS right now? Or like how does, what problems do you guys solve with that?
Yeah, totally. Um, I'll give you like an example. Um, one like one problem, and again, this is going to be very common in many other industries. Like in this, me specifically, is like you can't tattoo and sell at the same time. Like you can't, like they literally get paid to draw on people for a living and they get paid a lot of money, but like they shouldn't be answering text messages, calls, and selling their services, right? They should be focused on what they do best. So it's really about finding, okay, what AI solution just like makes sense, like product market fit, and then just like like approaching the market and like demoing it and testing it and then just like making it work. Um, and then basically like when you get clients, it's like, okay, how do you want to like scale this? Like right now, like I'm treating it the same as like growth operating at, with this. So, we just take a percentage of the sales at this point. But like, yeah, I do have a SaaS play where like I'm trying to just build equity value with like this SaaS and eventually scale horizontally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I see a lot of people, they go into, they go into the agency or info or both, and then they go into the SaaS because of the exit value there.
Yeah.
What's where do you see yourself, in the next 5 years? Do you want to sell what you have? Do you want to keep growing? Do you want to use it as cash cow? Like what's your thoughts for that?
Yeah, I'd love to make my first exit. I want to be able to like take over like majority of this industry. Like I'm a really big proponent on just like focusing on one industry, being really good at it, and then try to get the most like GTV, like gross transaction volume. It's like, would you rather like, I mean, like for me, like I want to be able to serve as many people. And the only way to do that is through software. Like you can't agency the entire market, you know what I mean? Like by providing services. But like I would rather go wide market, low price, but like high TAM, total addressable market. But like, you know what I mean? That like at this point, and then eventually, yeah. I would want to sell it, but I'm honestly just more infatuated with what this technology is going to do, and it improves over time, which is like really cool.
Do you where do you see, the trajectories? AI is moving so fast. It's pretty hard to keep up with it in some areas. So how do you where do you see it being in, in the next 3 years, the next 5 years? What's your thoughts on where AI is gonna be in, in those timelines? And
Yeah,
also, is it something that, someone how does someone keep up with it as well?
yeah, totally. I honestly think that it's gonna go after a lot of like the higher paying jobs. However, like it's kind of weird, right? I think it's gonna look more weird than we think. Um, I think that a lot of businesses, like especially like we start to see the bigger enterprise companies start to invest in it and adopt it early on, and then it's going to trickle down to like the medium-sized businesses and then the smaller businesses over time. But it's kind of like the dot-com bubble, right? Where the early service providers, like the internet agencies, like pre dot-com bubble, like the early '90s, or like software development agencies, like web design agencies, they were early to the game, and now like they're billionaires because they were there, they were established, and like they understood the technology when everybody kind of just missed it at the time. I think that building any sort of business with AI, whether that's service-based, because there's really three different types of businesses you could build with AI. There's service-based business where you sell implementation services. There's like software or SaaS where you sell software or software as a service. And then you have like education or consulting, right? I think that if you build those businesses now and then you play the long-term play, which is like 3, 5, 10 plus years, you still want to sell that business. I think that AI centric companies will compound over time and have like higher exit multiples, honestly, like regardless of what type of business you are. Like for example, if like a small to medium sized business wants to sell in like the next like 10 years, like they have AI in their business, like do you think they'd have a higher or lower exit multiple? Probably higher, because it's like it's systematized, it's automated, right? And the buyer would want to, ideally want to manage AI versus managing a human. Like it's less risky, right? So, but yeah, that's kind of what that looks like in a nutshell.
Do you think that, you see like these big companies like Salesforce, do you think that they're like either going to grow exponentially with AI, or do you think they're just going to get decimated with AI?
I think that they're doing the right thing, honestly. Like the bigger companies like Salesforce, Microsoft, and like the bigger, I call it like incumbents, they have to test new things now, unless like the smaller companies can pretty much just like they can move faster and then like take over. It's kind of like Blockbuster and Netflix back then. I do think the bigger companies, they're like they're gonna have to like lead the way and pave the way with AI, but they have to take on more risk because obviously once you get into like ethical considerations and also just like risk, they're usually a little bit more risk averse than like the smaller businesses. How the smaller businesses can move a lot faster because there's less decisions and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I think like Salesforce is doing something really good, but it's quite interesting when we think about AI as a whole because I mean it is like almost like commoditized in a sense, and like it's like a race to the bottom with how cheap your product can be and how good it can be. So it's like legitimately like a race to the bottom, and it, I don't know, it changes the very fabric of capitalism in and of itself. So
Do you think that like there's going to be a lot of companies who basically like, ChatGPT have a free version and use that as people kind of, get comfortable with it and then have like a paid version? Or do you think like that's a good business strategy when starting an AI SaaS?
yeah, I think that like when you start like with playing around with AI, the user has to play around with it for free. And eventually, when they start developing use cases and they start getting value from it, then it makes sense to pay for it. I think that's a smart way to do it. But there's so much you can do with AI now. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like when you start a business, regardless of if it's an AI business or a regular business, like you have to ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to like make money as fast as possible? Do you want to like build something where you can potentially make an exit? Do you want to like lead a crowd? And I think that when you're building like that business, you have to ask yourself those questions like initially. Um, and like, yeah, like you want to be able to like, for example, like you want to build a software company, right? You can use like Lovable or like Replit. It's like building a minimum viable product. Like use like UGC for like, yeah, we'll get very technical. Like use UGC for like scaling, getting your first like 1,000 users, right? Scale that up. Build like you can bootstrap your way to like a pretty significant um, like valuable software company without being tech savvy. That's just like one way you can do that. So, um, yeah, of course, definitely play around with the tools. Most AI tools literally have free versions anyways, to like try and test out yourself. And then like if like you have like you're selling AI implementation services to businesses, I always tell my students like make sure your clients pay for the software. Like always separate software and services. So you get paid for the services and they cover software costs. So like your net should be like 100%.
Do you think that like because of all these, AI tools, do you think it's way easier for someone to get into the AI SaaS space just because the barrier to entry is so much easier?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, like you still have to build like a valuable software product, which requires you to like identify a problem, like a painful problem to solve. Um, yes, you can whip up an MVP pretty fast, but like I really think it boils down to like distribution, if that makes sense. Like I'm seeing a lot of like we're seeing like hundreds of AI tools come up every single day because like anybody can pretty much build a software now, like like any sort of like no code AI agent builders. Um, but yeah, it is a lot easier, and I think that everybody should try to build like at least like an internal tool that they would use themselves and like play around with it, because I think that the experience of learning how it works fundamentally is actually more valuable than creating the software in and of itself and trying to have a go to market strategy and stuff like that. Like it's like because of that skill, I think like think about this, right? An employee at a company could like develop their own software for the company. Like that changes everything. Typically a company would have to like hire like an expensive developer or like a dev team or like an agency, but like now with like no code, you can keep it in-house. And in fact, you can even gamify it, make it competitive, right? Like they can develop websites, web apps, they can solve a lot more problems because the barrier to entry for like a lot of the things that are like more technical or difficult has just dropped significantly. So like it makes it really, really interesting to say the least. So yeah, 100%. So if you're getting started out, like try Lovable, try Replit. Those are two really good softwares. And like try building a website and you'd be surprised to see how easy it is with like with their software. It's crazy.
Would you say like someone, a founder who's ambitious, they have some success with their AI SaaS, what's some constraints that they're gonna run into?
Absolutely. So I think that the thing that they're gonna run into is like team building and talent. I think that like when you scale a software, it's really it's really easy to get trapped in sort of like the nuances of how like the software product works and stuff like that. But like it really takes a team to like develop the software like fully and actually like trying to like scale that out to like different markets or acquire more users. I definitely think that the fundamentals of business doesn't change even if the technology changes. And I think that like breakthrough really is just like talent and like just getting talent on board and like hiring the right people internally. I think like that's what stops most like like obviously there's like softwares that are doing like tools that are doing like 5, 10, 50K a month, but like they don't really have the talent in order to break through like to hit like 100 or like a couple $100,000 a month. So I think talent is the biggest gap for sure.
Where would someone find, good talent?
Dude, referrals. Like when I say like that, referrals is literally like the number one way to get talent and also get customers. Like it's the best way because it's free. And usually good, like if you hire like A talent, they probably know other people that are A players as well too. If you hire B players, they're gonna like, get B players in, right? Same thing. Like it's the same thing. I like that's how I run my businesses. I don't run any ads for any of my offers. And it's like we have like a really good referral strategy and then organic marketing strategy, but on top of that, we just have a really good product. So yeah, I love referrals. Referrals is the best way. Like if you can develop like strategic partnerships or referrals with your AI agency starting out, I think that's a really good way instead of like sinking $10,000 in like ads to try to like test an offer, see if it works. You know what I mean?
So more like the Tesla strategy, build an amazing product. Don't
Yep,
worry about the marketing because you have a good product. You're gonna be successful.
100%. And we're like you. Okay, here's like one thing. Running an agency, like if you have like the right clients and the right products and like a good referral strategy, you don't have to worry about churn like ever. Like churn was talked about a lot in the agency space. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to get my churn up from like, or churn down from like 30% down to like 10. But it's like, why not just have like an amazing customer experience? And like, why not just have like, just like have a better customer acquisition strategy or like a qualification process? Like, why not just like have like a better team so that your customers will want to stick with you like for life, right? Why not just like develop a software so that they depend on the software so you never have to worry about them like quit, like, churning from your software because their entire business relies on the software. It's like churn is just the outcome of a bad product fundamentally, right? So I think like with like that, with like an amazing product plus a good referral system, it's like, that's a really, really good place to start out.
What's someone they just, they're doing good. They have a team now. How do they set up KPIs to know like how is their team performing and what's a baseline they should expect?
Yeah. Um, Internal tools, one. And then also like develop, you want to identify what metrics does the company deem like important, right? So for example, like for sales, it's like, how are we tracking sales metrics? Okay, how are we making decisions for like the sales teams, right? And it stems within every single department. I'll give you like an example, right? So, um, I manage a bunch of like salespeople, and like I manage them using AI, and I only make decisions based off of AI. And like they report to me every single day, so they calculate how much in sales did they close, how many leads did they interact with. I measure qualitative and quantitative data. So the quantitative data is the numbers, right? It's, how much money did we make? Pretty much how much money did they make? I calculate commissions, how many leads came in, what was the quality of the leads, and the qualitative data was how was their day, right? Explain exactly what went on that day. The more data and like the more quality data that they give us, the better decisions that I can make over a long period of time, right? So I have a sales team that like self-tracks every single day. And like for like 7 days, I use an AI automation that scans 7 days worth of sales reports so that I can make like decisions and adjustments throughout the week. And I do that every single month as well. So that's just like a department idea of like example of like what a sales team could do. But like there's many other departments inside of a company. There's like customer service, there's admin, there's operations, right? There's marketing, right? So I think it's like identifying what those KPIs are, like collecting, like whenever we're working with AI, it's like, how can we obviously digitize the information, collect that information, and then use AI to like, amalgamate that information and then, create sort of like an analysis so that we can make better decisions for the company as a whole. So I think it's using that framework and then just applying that to every like role, every single department and every single initiative in a company. And yeah, work smarter, not harder. Like that made us so much money, bro. Like so much money when I was actually making decisions based off of data and using AI to like amalgamate all of that data, because like I have a pretty good memory, but like my knowledge base isn't as big as like an AI. So humans are trained and conditioned to use tools. It's like we might as well use the most powerful tool on the planet to make good decisions, right? So
That's super sick. So you're leveraging AI to make better decisions about your employees and also having your employees use AI as well. So what like compared to, this is a very new concept. So like take a business 10 years ago versus now, what's like the ROI on output that someone will expect when they, leverage AI and do all these things that you mentioned before?
yeah, I think the outcome of AI should boil down to three things. I think that it should be obviously profitable, productive, and purposeful for the end user. The two most important people in a company that like you have to really consider when incorporating AI are your customers and your team, right? So it's developing AI solutions that make their lives better, that makes the company more money, that makes them more money, and also that makes their jobs more meaningful. I think that's how it should be viewed. I think that most people see like this AI thing as like the AI opportunity as like money, but like money is just a vanity metric, right? How to increase money in a company. Like you literally have to like go down to the end user and like create like a better experience for them fundamentally, and a better experience for like your customers, better experience for your team. And then like, collect their feedback to make the AI solution better. And then as a result, your company will make more money. Yeah.
So just having a solid, healthy company that solves a real problem that delivers
Yeah.
excellent customer
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. I think, collecting feedback and just going back to the core product and then iterating that is probably the most important thing you can do. Yeah.
And so someone that has a product, because you have examples such as Slack, you started as a gaming company. When should a company, double down on what they're doing and when should they pivot?
I honestly think like you have to have qualitative and quantitative data in order to make those, like that's like making a pivot is a big decision. That's
Mhm.
that's a really, really big decision. So it kind of depends. Like Slack, like going, I guess like going wide, right? That's like a long-term play, right? And like they're trying to be the communication platform for businesses. So that's a pretty big pivot, right? So that, I mean, if they're able to take on the risks, get like the necessary investments and actually go widespread like that, I think that's pretty smart. But, like you have to really fundamentally understand what your resources are and what your limitations are in order to, make those like big decisions. They could take those risks. That's a bet that they can afford to make. You know what I mean? But like the average kid that's coming into the business probably won't be able to do that without, you know, resources, connections, money, you know. So I think that like it really depends on like what you're able to risk starting out. And obviously like a visionary without a plan is just is just hallucinating. So um
So someone, someone starting out, right? They might not, they're not going to have as much money. Should they be super bootstrapped, or should they go, raise a seed round?
um I I think when you are starting out a business and you have no skills, your only option should be to bootstrap. Because if you take somebody else's money without skills, you will waste their money. So I think that using like if you have little money, use whatever resources that you have, which is obviously like you don't just have money, you have time and energy as well too. Like typically when we're younger, we have little to no money, and we have a lot of time and a lot of energy. So you have there are free resources out there to like learn the skills, right? Because skills is like the first thing that you start to stack up, right? So I think it's just using your resources, learning those skills, and just like improving over time. And then I think personally, again, starting like selling AI services or solutions to local brick and mortar businesses is probably going to be the easiest way to just make money as fast as possible, like in 2025. And I genuinely think that like learning skills is even questionable at this point, anything outside of AI, because like you can it's like a kid paying for a couple $1,000 course of learning how to design websites when like Replit just came out and now everybody can design websites. Like we're like the people who are learning that are cooked. So it's learning the skills of AI so that you can acquire more skills. That's the game.
So AI is like the fundamental first skill that gives you the leverage within any other skill that you're learning.
Yeah, 100%. It changes everything. And as I said like before, humans are essentially programmed to use tools, right? So it's literally just a tool. But like this tool gives us access to all of the information out there that exists, right? And like we can develop new skills like a lot faster. And again, it changes industries. So just like biggest recommendation, just like be early, understand the opportunity early, learn as much as possible, sharpen your skills of learning. Like it literally changes how we learn and how we build things. And then like, again, just like we see an opportunity in the market, be there early, test it out, build like an MVP, collect feedback, and then scale like as like an ethical business. The coolest part about AI as well too, it is low barrier to entry, by the way, because like traditionally an agency, like you'd have clients, they're like, show me your case studies, like your results. How new is AI? You know what I mean? Like it's so new. So it's like, I've already built like a demo. This is how to sell AI to businesses. I would love for you to test it out. Go ahead and call this number and I can show you that this AI voice agent can pick up calls so you don't have to, and you're never going to miss a call again. Right. And like you already built the thing out. Right. So if you're selling it to businesses, literally just take the approach of let me get your feedback, and then you sell them on the outcome, which is how is this going to solve their pain, not the technical, not the features. People don't buy features. People buy an AI solution based on the pain that it's able to pretty much remove from the business, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So just solving, businesses' pain points. And what would you say like are the best pain points that someone starting should go after?
Whatever, like businesses deal with plenty of problems. Like there's talent acquisition problems in businesses. There's sales. There are a bunch of sales problems. Like a lot of businesses don't, like they have leads, but they can't convert, right? So it's implementing an AI that's fundamentally going to like optimize their conversions, that's able to like pick up their calls, qualify leads. I think it's really about going into a business understanding their problems from a fundamental standpoint, and then just developing a solution that is able to like solve that problem, and then just training their team on how it works and how to interact with AI and then how to make it better over time. That is our responsibility as AI service providers, and that is how we get paid.
So would you say that like, working with a business, having a more customized solution specifically for that business is the best
Absolutely.
route to go?
Yeah. It's not cookie cutter. Like, I don't care what AI guru tells you that like you can sell cookie cutter solutions. It's like, it doesn't work because every single business fundamentally is the same, but like architecturally is like configured differently. It's like you have to like understand like but that definition means like you have to fundamentally understand the problem and then like design like an AI infrastructure that's able to like solve that problem. But it's going to be different. Like it's going to be different like across every single company and every single client that you serve. Right. But like you just have to identify what that problem is. And then like, like for example, if like I'm selling AI voice agents, right? It's going to look different across all of my clients because what's going to be different? The prompt is going to be different, which is going to, which is going to require me to like understand the nuances of the business, right? So that's why it's really important to like niche down and understand the businesses you're serving, right? And I think that is more important than actually learning the skill of building an AI solution in the first place, is like actually understanding the business.
What are some good niches that, someone looking to start an AI agency should be in?
Yeah, local, anything that's like HVAC, brick and mortar. Like I would like fundamentally boil it down to businesses that have high AOVs, meaning high average order values, low friction to the sale, meaning they have like it's easy, like you don't have to like really work a lead in order to get a sale. And then high like I would just like high return rate, like customers keep coming back, and referral rate. So I think some really good industries to serve like running an AI agency are like med spas, dentists, like barbers, even like real estate agents as well too. Restaurants is pretty good. Anything online like coaches, consultants, e-commerce brands. I would definitely say, instead of trying to pick the right niche, like the most trendy Shopify dropshipping product, like all of them work, but it really like depends on the product that you build and like how like it fits with that specific use case, right? Because you never know. Like there's a lot of like companies that like started off doing something that they didn't know, and then they make one little adjustment, and then they became Slack. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's that. Yeah, I think that you shouldn't overcomplicate it. That's
So,
it.
there's all these different, niches someone can target, just, figuring out one and just being of most value to that specific niche, and then, growing specifically in that vertical all the way up.
Yeah, totally, totally. And I think it's a lot more simple than most people think. I think most people have tendencies of overcomplicating it before they even start. I think the hardest part is just actually starting, and the easiest part is scaling genuinely. Like actually, like most people don't even know what it looks like to start because they haven't collected enough like real data, like real data points, right? So yeah, if I were to like really distill like what it looks like I guess like if we want to I suppose like go towards like the like how do you actually like start and scale or like build an AI business if like you want that sauce. I broke it down to like 5 key points. Number 1, pick a pain, like find a painful, time consuming business problem that AI can solve. Number 2, find the tools. So like you pick an AI tool or like a combination of AI tools that solves that problem fast. Number 3, you package the outcome. So like you don't sell the technology, you don't sell the features, you sell the result, which is the solution that solves their pain. Number 4, you outreach to customers. You reach out and like you like genuinely like to people who need this solution. You approach them with like, hey, can I get your feedback on something that I've built? Let's demo it. And then number 5, I genuinely believe this: sell before you scale. So like close your first deal, gather feedback, and then iterate, then raise the price over time. I think that's like the best, most like ethical approach to selling AI solutions, specifically services to businesses. And like don't like most people get lost in like trying to figure out what niche to provide. It's like just build an MVP, test and get feedback from like various niches, and like choose one that like resonates the most with them. You know what I mean? Or like the niche that you have the most the most leveraging experience, connections, resources, etc.
What would someone want to price? They build up maybe like a custom AI receptionist, or some outreach tool. How does the pricing look like on these businesses?
In regards to, I guess like in regards to like services, you want to price high because like you're doing the actual, like you're building the solution and like it's taking your time. In terms of like software, like you like it is more realistic to price a little bit lower because you could serve like a lower like a wider TAM, wider total addressable market. And like you're not facilitating any sort of like, it doesn't require your intervention. And then if you're selling education or consulting, it's variable, right? But like you could even sell lower than software because you're just giving them access to like a community or like a access to an info product. Consulting, you could charge a little bit more high ticket, but like that requires a little bit more. It's a little bit different. Just like building an AI community and teaching them education. But like services, I would charge no less than $1,500 a month. Honestly, that's like super low still. Like realistically, like 5 to 10. Like probably like 5K setup, repeat next month, right? Software kind of depends on what you build. You can like scale a pretty, big software company charging only like $49 a month, but like you need like the exposure, you know what I mean? You need the user base. I think software is harder to start out. I think services is just the easiest to really get in. Yeah, every single basis is it.
What's when you built your SaaS, like what is some of the hardest decisions that you had to make throughout your journey?
I built a couple of my very first AI business was a software. It was called Ideafied, and like I like had zero tech experience, and I had to literally learn how to build software like pretty quick. The hardest decision that I had to make, genuinely, was like, who are we going to serve? And honestly, it was a hard decision at the time because I was trying to pick and choose. But the truth was that I had to build a product and actually just like focus more so on testing and getting proof of concept first. Like that should have been the main focus. And then the little micro decisions really stemmed from the users getting and just collecting feedback and then iterating the product over time. I think those are probably the most important decisions. Like getting feedback requests for like my software. People are like, oh, I'd love to add this tool. Or like, oh, this feels really not that helpful. I really don't see you using it a lot. But again, the quality of feedback and the quantity of feedback was probably the most imperative for the decisions that I was making to like develop and iterate the product over time. So I think that should be the biggest focus anyways. I think that's like the truth. Like even when you're selling services, it's like, how can I make this AI solution better? And then just collecting feedback and then like using that feedback to go back to products and then developing it and iterating it from there.
So like the best, piece of advice and the best mindset to have is, how can I make this product as useful and as perfect as possible for whoever's using it?
So I think a product is never going to be perfect because it's just going to develop over time. I genuinely think that the mindset of let's just like test proof of concept to build something that like works, and then obviously iterate the prompt, for example, um, is a better mindset to have versus like trying to figure out the perfect prompt and then it not working because you don't know enough about the business, and then you falling on your face and can't close a client because you don't understand the nuances of their business. I think that the mentality of like product development could be applied within all of the AI businesses as a whole. I think that that mentality is actually more useful than anything.
Do you also, see yourself having maybe, like an AI fund or investing in other AI businesses? Or where do you, you had a successful exit, where you have all this cash now, where do you see yourself, position yourself? Like, what's the next level after AI SaaS?
Yeah, I think it's more of just treating it like an incubator for companies that want to like grow, like build a product around AI. I definitely see myself like doing like acquisitions, and then obviously like growth, like scaling companies like with AI, taking percentage of like equity or like percentage of growth. Um, but like I think that every single business that exists in the world should be using it. So to say like that it's like an AI incubator is to say like just call it an acquisitions company. It's like wrapped like throwing the word AI in there doesn't make it any special than it is. Um, but I definitely say myself, yes. I just want to get really good because like I run the three different types of business. It was like I have like a at the top I have a service based business where I implement AI solutions in companies. I have like a SaaS where like I am like I have a software company as well too. And then I have like an education, where I literally teach, I teach people how to like implement AI in businesses, how to like start and scale an AI business. Um, and I think it's just like I don't know, like I just want to get really good at doing all of those three, so that I can like collect feedback and actually just give all that feedback and like actually like reference experiences to people within my community, learning how to like refine the skills so that we can eventually partner and like grow a couple of AI businesses together and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like that whole vision of like acquisitions and stuff like that, it sounds really interesting to me. But yeah, as of right now, I just really just want to focus on developing really good products.
How have you met, a lot of like, you're a really solid team, all this stuff. Like, how have you met and these people, and how have you, created really strong relationships with these people?
Um, client wise, it's referrals. Or actually, I guess both. Yeah, I guess it's like referrals. Like I mean, like meeting people on like using like Instagram, LinkedIn, communities are great. But like fundamentally, I think if you build a good product, like the the outcome is going to be referrals. If you like build a really good one and you have a good service, build a good team, um, you'd be surprised. Like if you build something valuable, people should be coming to like they should be flocking to you in order to like work with you. That's both on like the customer side and that's both on the talent side as well too. But I think if you're just getting started out, because I'm a lot different position than a lot of people starting out, I think it's like being a part of those communities early on, um, doing like outreach. There's like nobody wants to do outreach now these days. Like it works. You reached out to me and we're on a podcast. Like it works, right? You can literally reach out to somebody on social media and then get them to do something. Um, like yeah, hanging out with those communities, doing outreach and just like creating content. I genuinely think is like the best way to get clients starting out. Like actually, like your podcast strategy is actually a really good way to do that as well too. I've seen a couple of people do that.
Do you think that long form or short form is better for someone starting out when they're like, okay, I want to grow my brand, I want to create content. What's your advice on that?
It depends who you are. There's like for me, like I can't sit in front of the camera and do reels, bro. Like that's just me personally. Like I'd rather create like long form authentic content that will help people and teach them to do stuff and show people what I'm building. I tried the short form thing. It really depends on who you are individually and what your goals are. But yeah, for me, I'm more of like a fundamental person. And like I'm more of like I just want to like record, do long form, and show you how to like build something cool. And yeah, so I think it depends on what your goals are. It's like you have to ask yourself like, okay, what's the point? Like before you sit in front of camera and point, like what's the goal? Like, are you showing somebody how to do something? Right? What's the goal? Or do you want to build a brand? Do you want to like send people to your info product or like, like what's the goal? So I think it really depends on what your goals are, and like your personality as well. Like you like long form because it's authentic. You don't have to script. You could just like talk conversationally and get clips. Right? Depends on what they want. Firstly, I can't do the short form thing where like you have to like come up with a script and like have like, pay like an editor, do all like animations and stuff. Like I can't do that, but like that's just not me personally. It's kind of like it's something that I just like don't have the time to do really anyways. But I will record a YouTube a year from now. Then YouTube honestly is it's a long term play. And I think that you could develop more of a cult, honestly, with like a good YouTube following. Like if you have like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube versus 100,000 followers on Instagram, I would choose the YouTube subscribers any day, honestly, because they probably like more committed to like who you are as a creator, genuinely. So that's just my take on it.
Who's someone that you look up to? Dead or alive, who are some, entrepreneurs or just successful people that you've looked up to?
I would say, entrepreneur wise, like it's sad that there's nobody in the AI space right now. I guess it's because it's so early. I don't even look up to Sam Altman, to be entirely honest with you. But like I look up to entrepreneurs like Naval Ravikant, Alex Hormozy, um, a lot of like the big software guys. Like I don't like look up to somebody because like you're putting them on a pedestal, but like I just like looking like at them and seeing like what they're building. I think is pretty cool. Um, I don't know, like I like seeing like I like surrounding myself with people that are just building cool things and um someone like a couple of people that are really cool actually is like the people at WAP. Like the founders at WAP are really cool. I love what they're building. They're building a really cool product. Cameron and Steven, the co-founders of WAP, even Brett over there. Like yeah, I don't really look up to that. I see what they're building. I'm like, yeah, like let me know like however I can help. Like you guys are building an incredible product. I use it to run my businesses and yeah, you guys just keep crushing it. Fucking awesome.
Do you so obviously you're walking on a treadmill. I don't know if people caught the first part, but you're walking on a treadmill, so you're moving around. Do you think that like fitness is also crucial in becoming successful in business?
Mentally, yes. Physically, yes, and spiritually, yeah. Like if you sit down at the desk all day, like you're cooked. Like if you don't like, for me, like if I don't like get sunshine or like work out, my output is gonna be like 80% less than like me walking. Like I try to walk like 5 miles a day, get like more than 10,000 steps in. Um, and I just like switching it up. So that's just like how I like to work. I optimize my meal schedule, my sleep schedule, and like pretty much my day to like not how many hours I can work, but like how productive I could be within those working hours. Like sometimes I'll work like 2 hours a day, but like it's just like what's the output versus like somebody just wanting to work like maximize the number of hours but like have like low output. It's like I think that's dumb. You know what I mean?
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like at the end of the day, all businesses is like input and output. Like the goal, it's like a video game. It's like the goal is to input one and output like 10, 100, 1,000. Right. So I think it's just like asking yourself, like how can I apply that to not just like business, but like everything else in life? It's like when you can understand that formula, that's like what leverage is, then like you're going to achieve your goals a lot faster.
Dude, that's sick. That's sick. So as we're starting to wrap up, before this, I asked the last person if they could ask you one question, and so I'm gonna go ahead and
Sure.
read this off. They wanted to ask you, how long do you think it will take till AI takes over the world?
I think it already has. I'll just leave it at that. Because like an AI influences a majority of our decisions. Social media influences what we think, how we think. It's not so like again, it's like it's an algorithm that like pretty much just like determines our thoughts and our beliefs, right? So I do think to a certain extent that it already has, but like I think that mark my words on this. I think that the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to start to see it be more productive than brain rot and useless. And that's what I'm the most excited about, is the overall productivity that it will create for the world.
Sick, sick. And what's something that you want to tell the next person on here?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm envisioning that this person is probably like starting a business very early, little to no resources. But like, I'll tell them two things. Okay. Your work works more on you than you do on it. And then the other thing that I want to tell them is that it's probably going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot better than you think, but it's also going to be a lot harder than you think. And that's exactly what I tell myself like 5, 10 years ago. But it's going to be a lot. It's going to be worth it. Like, you do have to put in like a lot more work than you think, but as a result, the person actually putting in the work is the goal. I don't really believe in the pursuit of happiness. The happiness is within the pursuit. And you are going to develop into a person of caliber. And I think that should be the goal rather than the materialistic outcome that you'll achieve.
Dude, that's sick. That's awesome. Well, Blake, I appreciate your time. I'm
Thanks for
super
having me.
stoked that we got to, connect, and I know that we'll definitely run into each other's paths again.
Absolutely.
Love what you do. Where can people find you?
On YouTube, Blake Baswell. YouTube, Instagram, I'm pretty much on all platforms. So yeah, find me. I'm there. I'm actually pretty active on Instagram. I take a lot of DMs. So if like you guys want to like reach out and you guys need help, I'll try my best to help you guys out.